Hello and welcome back to the Hytale podcast. We have probably some of the biggest news of the year right after this intro.
Myne, dude, we're
Yes,
back. We're back in our chairs. I'm excited.
you're out
Um,
of the hot, stinking Florida human weather.
I'm out of the stinking hot Florida humid weather and now back in the kind of hot but not anywhere near as humid Toronto weather. It was a pretty nice day today, not gonna lie. Recently it's been a little bit hotter. Like last week was really hot, not gonna lie, but this week it's like probably in Fahrenheit around 65. Like lovely weather.
Oh wow, that's pretty chilly.
That is nice. It's been nice. It's been nice.
Well, I don't want to keep the fans waiting. We got two Ask Hytales. We got a
Hell yeah.
mini, somewhat blog post, and we have a job offering that talks about free to play.
That's
We've
right,
mentioned
Reddit.
free to play in the past, in a previous episode, talking about a marketplace job, and it didn't directly say free to play. It's talked about marketplace, and the entire community kind of assumed, what, this probably means free to play.
Yeah.
But this one literally talks about the words free to play, and we'll get into that. But we have some Ask Hytales that are kind of disappointing. I think
Yeah,
both of us kind of agree.
they're just kind of like mid. They're like the most mid Ask Hytale questions you could like probably get, and they're on screen now for you guys to see. But you want to read them off, Mine?
Yeah, I'll start with the magic one first.
Okay.
The question was, how complicated will the magic system be? Are there unique spells you can use? Can you make your own spells with a semi-modular system? Will you be able to combine different elements when/if you can spellcraft, making completely unforeseen effects? Now, when you read that question, it sounds like they could go into crazy detail and reveal a bunch of new stuff.
Yes.
But this is the answer.
It's a great answer.
Oh, it's also a kind of disappointing answer because the first sentence they say is, this is space we're still working on. So magic is definitely not complete. It's not built out yet. I don't know how far their magic system is and how important that is in terms of the overall completeness of Hytale, but I'll keep going. I love magic systems and I want ours to be awesome. We're looking at magic being an adventure in and of itself. You don't start with it, but you can go out and find it and make it a part of your desired playstyle. Importantly, for appreciators of both magical and the mundane, we want magic to have particular uses that contrast with other skills the player can be good at. If you aren't particularly magical yourself, you'll want to have a magical friend.
Yeah. One thing that I got out of this, kind of for like the playthrough of Orbis, it says you don't have to be like a magician or not magician or whatever, a wizard or whatever the heck you want to be. Anything that does magic, you don't have to do it, but it does say you would probably need a magical friend to do it, and that could be a co-player, could be maybe an NPC if you want to do Hytale solo, but it's not a like mandatory thing to become a wizard. So that's pretty cool. I thought you would have had to like do something with all the different types of the elements maybe in the game, but hey,
yeah, I mean, that'd be sick
if
you're required to use, let's say, some sort of fire magic to enter a dungeon or part of the story. But
I guess
like
for the base straight playthrough. Yeah, I guess for the base straight playthrough. I assume there's going to be
side quests that require certain magic, and if you don't have that, you probably won't be able to complete them. But in terms of the main story or whatever the story is, it's become more vague the more time has gone.
Yeah, I wonder what would be really cool if there's specific like levels of dungeons that you have. So if just say for example, you would need just say you master like one element. Let's use fire as an example again. There's a dungeon that only requires one element, so you can just go with the fire one. But then maybe there's a level 2 dungeon where you need fire and water to to complete. That could be really cool as well.
More difficult, and the more difficulty, the higher requirement on what you possess and what you own. And that works with maybe different weapons too. Like sometimes you just can't go into this dungeon with daggers. You're going to be completely outclassed by whatever may counter daggers, or daggers just are limited in damage. And maybe that can be a cool challenge too, where you're going to try to complete this dungeon with only daggers, but they really suck in this specific dungeon,
That would be so cool. That would be so cool. Like these things, like maybe the mobs you're fighting there have specific type of armor that just you need like a heavy weapon instead of a light weapon to.
Yeah, and
or magic.
another thing that people got out of this Ask Hytale, which is something that if they've been paying attention at least to the Hytale podcast or John Hendricks Twitter, is that you
Always
can
pay attention.
use magic for non-combat things. It said somewhere in there, I forgot exactly what it is. But yeah, we've known that at least can start a campfire. I think John has mentioned that you can start a campfire with magic.
That's
It
cool.
also says you don't start with it, and you can go out and find it, which I think is kind of like an of course thing.
Find it. Is that
I would
like the
not.
crystal, like the fire crystals?
I mean, here's the thing: we don't know if the magic is the book we've seen in that one skeleton clip. Where he launches that magical bolt from the book. We don't know if that's the magic or that's just a weapon and magic as a separate system. That's something
Right.
we'll have to figure out. If we assume that that is the magic, then yeah, of course. I mean, you're gonna have to pick up the book to be able to use the magic. I didn't think that there was a possibility that you just start off magic the second you spawn in the world.
That wouldn't make sense. I thought it would be something you learn over time.
Yeah, either you learn it or you pick up an item, but I mean,
Yeah.
you wouldn't spawn with it. I don't think that would make sense. And so
Yeah, and like
they put
maybe
that
the
in there.
least possible thing you can have is like a base spell knowledge. I don't know. That's
Yeah,
like maybe you'll spawn with a
like
spell
mana
book, but you don't know how
blast
to
or
use
something
it.
like that.
Yeah,
It
that could be
does,
pretty
like 3
cool.
damage or something.
Something that recovers your
That could have
stamina
been
a
a
little bit faster.
possibility. But
Yeah.
I don't know. I think the community is in agreement that this. I didn't learn a single thing about this.
No, I learned it's something that we would say if we were to be doing a podcast. It'd be like, yeah, magic's cool. I love magic. Magic is something I want in Hytale, and that's pretty much what Sean Draverius, I'm not even gonna try to pronounce that last name, said.
I mean, we've had plenty of magic podcasts before where we went into pretty detailed theory crafting about what the magic system could entail. But I mean, you guys are watching the Hytale podcast. People have called us shills to the devs or bootlickers or whatever.
We ain't
I
devs
think this
either.
is the opposite of bootlicking.
We've been called devs too.
We've been called devs
We've
too,
been called
which is
devs,
funny.
yep.
But I think this is like a proof where, like, yeah, I mean, if we see something negative or not necessarily negative, I mean, they're communicating with us. I don't want to be that guy, but we're also not gonna hyper praise this as if it's something crazy. But we do have some crazy things coming
Yeah,
up.
it's not like we didn't know that magic was in the game to begin with. It's like, whoa, magic, wow. Yeah.
Yeah, I just wanted to point that out because I mean, I think I saw a comment about that recently about how YouTubers in general or we are just like bootlicking up to the devs, and I mean,
are we dev glazers? Dev glazers.
I mean, a little bit. I like obviously there's bias.
I love
towards
Buddha
the
Cat.
devs
It's
in Hytale. But
yeah, I don't know what other people would want to see John Hendricks' legs. So
true, there's not many people that would want that.
No, exactly. Let's move on to the second Ask Hytale.
The second one's about companions and pets, which
I like
is something
this one's better than the
that
first
we've known
one, in my
about.
opinion. Yeah,
and this one says, we're planning to offer many sorts of pets and companions to join you on your adventure throughout all the fun and exciting experiences in Hytale. I'm sure that some of the friends you make along the way could be convinced to wear a fancy hat or 2 or 3. I think this one's cute.
3 hats? 3 hats? That's a lot of hats.
3 hats on.
How are you gonna wear 3 hats?
I assume it's talking about 3 hats on top of each other, right?
Yeah, so that means is there like a layer system for head?
I think that's super cool.
So
I love
because
the
we
idea
know
of
we know in
a
Hytale
doggy wearing 3 hats.
That'd be adorable. Because we know you can have obviously like your hair piece, I guess, for Hytale, and then a lot of them have hats on top, and then Buddha Cat has those like glasses on top of his like little hat.
His hair.
So I assumed that was just one big piece, but maybe it's 2 pieces. That could be pretty cool. Or maybe if you want to put a flower on your hat, or one of them little, like, what are those windmill things that go on top of hats? One of those things.
Oh, I know what you
mean.
Like,
oh, propeller caps, like a propeller cap. That could be cool. Yeah. Hat layers.
Hat layers is super cool.
Mm-hmm.
It's interesting to think about what kind of pets you'll be able to do, because it says I'm sure that some friends you'll make along the way. So are you able to, is it more like a pet system similar in Minecraft where you feed them your favorite
like wheat
food, wheat, bones, seeds, whatever the animal may enjoy, and then they're your pets like that? there's a distinction between pets and companions, because if it's your pet in Orbis, they're not going to be able to go to you with to the, what is it called, the capital. But I assume a companion, on the other hand, would be something that you'd be in the capital, you know?
Customizable pets on servers, which I think they already have in Hypixel. That's pretty
And
cool. That's pretty cool.
that sounds like a monetization option in the future,
That sounds pretty free to play.
where, I
Just
mean,
kidding.
it can be pay to play too.
It could be. I mean, it's pay to look cool, which, whatever. I don't care about pay to look cool. Do whatever you want with it. You don't have to buy it if you don't want to. So
Yeah, but like pets are an example of a way that they can
Right.
monetize,
Yeah.
regardless of if it's free to play or pay to play, which it's leaning more towards free to play.
Yeah, and you don't have to just buy the actual, just say, companion, like the dog or the cat. You can, if we're going off Minecraft here in Hypixel, buy those mystery crates that they have that have each different tier of them as well. So that's probably what
Yeah,
they'll
and
do.
then I could also see that being a great way for partnerships to be included in Hytale. Say
Right.
if there's an Avatar: The Last Airbender partnership with Hytale, you can get an Appa
Ooh.
companion.
That would be dope as hell.
I would buy an Appa companion.
I would spend money to open those crates to buy, to just for a chance of getting an Appa companion.
No, I think something like that would be you buy them from the store.
I would I would prefer that. But hey, I would also like free-to-play people to also have a chance. So maybe if you do good in a game, you have like a percentage chance to get one of those loot boxes.
I mean,
I'm
thinking Fortnite monetization right now.
How does that? I'm not too familiar with that.
You just buy it. It's just a skin.
You just buy
free
it.
to play, you don't really get it.
Isn't there like V-Bucks? Is there ways to get V-Bucks free to play though?
Yeah. So Fortnite's actually some of the most free to play friendly, in my opinion, because there's through the battle pass, because most games have a free battle pass and a paid battle pass.
Right.
You
Yes,
get
they do.
V-Bucks from the free battle pass, and I don't know what it is if you're starting a new account, but after a few free battle passes, you have enough V-Bucks to buy the premium, and the premium has enough V-Bucks to not only buy the next battle pass, so it's like recyclable, but you also get additional V-Bucks so that after a few battle passes, you'll just be able to buy something from the store.
Look at that. That is a great idea. It keeps people playing.
They also have event battle passes sometimes. So I know the Star Wars one did that. I think Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles had some as well.
Probably all the big franchises.
Where there's like a mini battle pass for, you know, a paid and a free version for, let's say, Star Wars.
Right.
And at the end of the free one, I got a Clone Trooper skin, and at the end of the paid one, there's a Darth Maul skin. So obviously,
I would go for that Darth Maul skin.
A clone trooper is less exciting than Darth Maul for a lot of people, but that means the free people get something. And if you want to pay for the event and get the limited edition skin, then you can buy the Darth Maul as well. And I think that's also a great way for monetization that Hytale can look into.
I was just about to ask you, you think Hytale will have its own rendition of this in the capital then? Like a free, but also can turn into a paid battle pass? Or I mean, what would they call it? A high pass?
High pass. I mean, the name is already there. And
yeah,
I don't know. I'm a fan of that because I think it's very, in my opinion, it's very consumer friendly. Because for context, I play mostly free to play games.
Me too.
And I don't pay money in them. We had this discussion a little bit in the Discord, link in the description. Most active Hytale Discord, by the way.
That's right.
When it gonna announce that the game is likely free to play, people were talking about microtransactions, and that's the biggest argument people always have against free to play.
That's the only one,
it's
really.
The only one.
It's really the only one.
And they've openly said that they're not for pay to win, so it's not going to be pay to win in general.
And then how to ruin a game, make it pay to win if it's a free to play game.
Like, and so the only real monetization would be cosmetics or marketplace things. And then my argument is usually for cosmetics. I mean, I've never bought anything out of urge, but I understand that there's some people that don't, you know, have that control, and they see a cool skin, their mind goes, I need that. I understand that. And so I assume I'm in the majority, and that, you know, that caters towards that, you know, specific mindset, and especially towards whales. But
I hate whales. Screw whales.
Whales are feeding the industry.
I'm the type of guy that sees a Darth Maul skin, like, first time, I'll see a bunch of skins, and then I see Darth Maul, I'm like, ooh, I'm buying Darth Maul, but nothing else. I'm that type of player. But
yeah, so you're more of like the
like
The
very
like, small
light.
urges.
I'm like a like if we're comparing like normal person to whale, I'm kind of like a fish, you know?
Yeah, I
And,
mean, you're
yeah,
like the average person who buys a skin here and there, and
exactly.
that's who feeds the game's economy realistically,
Mhm.
as well as whales.
Except in
I'm
Hytale, we
someone
might have to buy everything. I know you probably will have to, business expense, but you might have to showcase these things.
maybe,
Use
but
code FLASH in the creator shop, please.
oh, I hope there's creator codes. You know how much I'm gonna spend
I'll
on
be
that.
like, by the way, in case you didn't know, use
But
code
yeah,
FLASH.
I mean, if you're a person that's afraid of the pay to, not pay to win, but pay to look cool, I if you're someone that doesn't pay for skins in other games, I don't see why you'd be afraid of this in general. And
Hmm.
then if you're someone with these tendencies, then honestly, I would try to find, if there's no way to get help for yourself, then also just like limit it. Like just take away your credit card, make sure it's not saved on Hytale's website or whatever, and try to learn from that. I don't really know how else to say that, but I think
Hmm. No, that's fair.
regardless, there's going to be some microtransactions there.
Yeah, like, how
It's
else
not
are
going to
they
be pay to
supposed
win.
to make money? It's you can't just have a straight free-to-play game and make everything free. How
Right,
are you
and
gonna
that's
make
why
money?
the argument is like make it a one-time payment. But I mean,
No, that's
I
so
think
much
we're going
worse.
too much into this discussion because we've
We're
had
gonna
it
have that debate
so
later
many
anyway.
times. We've had it so many times that that model doesn't work unless it's we're
Like
going
a
too deep in the rabbit
one-time
hole.
kind of play game. But Hytale's supposed to be a game that you gotta play forever, or as long as you really want. People just compare it to Minecraft so much, and Minecraft's like what, $40 now? Inflation's gone crazy since I
Minecraft
bought Minecraft.
also has Bedrock, which sells maps, which sells skins, which sells
Is Bedrock free?
mods. No, Bedrock is
No,
also pay to
it's
play,
also
and
pay to
then
play.
there's
Okay.
also the marketplace and mine coins and everything.
Huh. Bedrock would be crazy if it was a free-to-play game. You know how massive it would be. That would be
They don't
huge.
need to make it free to
They
free to
they
play. I mean,
just the name
they
Minecraft alone is
they
enough
made
just to
Minecraft
sell.
half off. Let me see if it's still half off. Minecraft half off because it's the what
Could be.
25-year anniversary.
Well, they can make it half. I might as well make it free. Like, what are we doing?
Oh yeah, it is. It is still half off. I don't know how long it's lasting, but if you don't have Minecraft, you should probably hop on this sale.
Yeah, facts. Get.
I don't
I
know how
can't.
long
If
it
you don't,
lasts.
there's probably what percentage of like gamers out there, or just average people who played a video game in their life, like you think don't have Minecraft?
There's a good amount.
Like I get
Probably a
block
good amount.
games. I get block games on for everybody, but still, you've probably played Minecraft at least
I
once.
think if you're in our generation,
Yeah, around
because
our generation.
some generations either grew up out of it. I mean, I think unless you're older, you've probably had contact with Minecraft at some point.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if
That's
you're
fair.
watching the Hytale podcast, you probably have. But if you're watching the Hytale podcast and you still have not played Minecraft, I assume this
Let
is
us
probably
know.
the best way to the best time to start with Minecraft, considering it's 50% off now.
Yeah, let us know in the comments section if you haven't played Minecraft
I'm
before.
actually super interested if there's people watching this who haven't.
I wish that we could put polls in the comment section. YouTube, like, why is that not a feature?
We'll do a community poll.
Yeah, we'll do one of those.
And we'll do one in the Discord too. So if you want to be a part of that, select your answer in the Discord.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, companions. I think companions and pets are going to be different, considering they separated that. Companions are going to be capital pets, and pets are going to be things you find in Orbis.
Yeah, I
And
agree.
you could put 3 hats on them.
I want to give my dog a bone and make him my friend, or whatever you do to tame a
Small
dog.
tangent too. Imagine if they do like, and this is going to interest you, like baseball cooperations for hats.
Done. Sold. Jays are. I don't know if you know what City Connect jerseys are for MLB. It's like the line that every team gets a jersey that's kind of represents the city. And the Toronto Blue Jays are releasing theirs tonight. So we're gonna see a City Connect jersey. But man, if we get some Blue Jays merch in Hytale, I might have to rep a hat, you know? Or if we see Ferrari stuff right up my
baseball
alley.
hats are super popular. I could easily see them doing a collaboration with the MLB to get official.
If they can, is that allowed? Like, do other games?
No clue.
Like, doesn't Fortnite do something with the NBA? Maybe.
Fortnite's done something with everything. They're the
That's
exception,
fair.
not the rule.
But yeah, because they have Lewis Hamilton in the game. Like, how does that work? I know
They have everyone.
They do have everybody in the game.
They've got everyone. I
If
saw
they
Blue
want,
Jays. What did I saw Blue Jays somewhere? It was at like Ross, some Blue Jays item at
Hmm.
Ross in Florida, and I'm like, who's a Blue Jays fan down in Florida?
me. Actually, a lot of people in Florida are Blue Jays fans. All the snowbirds.
Nah,
All
snowbirds.
the snowbirds. All the snowbirds are Jays fans.
I
Are
think
we moving
I
on
think
to
we're on
John?
to we're not. Yeah, we're on to
Mini
John. I was about to say
mini
we're on
blog
to the
post.
job post. We
Mini
got a mini blog post.
mini blog post.
Let me see if this.
Let's put.
It's long. It's short enough to be able to read on.
Yeah, I'll put it on the screen for everybody. I'm sure they'll enjoy it.
So
There
this
you go.
was a Twitter article posted by John Hendricks, and it was posted on May 19th. And he just talks about a bit of a reflection on the winter developer update. And I'll just go into it before talking about it. Going through the topics, first and foremost, the engine progress is on track. I'll stop here. Huge. They haven't talked about the engine since the last
Massive.
blog post. So it's been 5 months, more than 5 months, since they've talked about the engine progress, and they're still on track, which is really good. Because
Yay!
they said they were on track last time in December, but it could have been that there's slowdowns. They're on track. That's really good. I'll continue. Building a high-performance walk game engine is no small feat, and the team has been killing it to stay on target. If you've been tracking our open jobs, you've probably noticed we've had a hard time filling the lead rendering engineering role. While it has slowed things down, getting our visuals where we want them, we have a talent on task and are not blocked. Pro career tip: consider becoming a rendering expert.
Become a rendering expert, guys. Come on. I guess that's
Next
a shortage in the industry.
Orbis. At this point, we can consider Orbis thoroughly re-explored. Farons, Trorks, Outlanders, Undead, Goblins, etc. He didn't mention Fawns. Have all had full exploration. So imagine he put Fawns in here as little tease. Oh my god!
Like he purposely avoided them in Thankmas last year, but maybe they have a really deep lore in Hytale that we just don't know about. That'd be exciting.
Have all had full explorations similar to what we shared for the Quebecs and have all benefited greatly. No spoilers, I'm sure we will tease more details, but the goal of all of this hard work was for you to experience in-game. The capital and the lifestyle capabilities of avatars have also come a long way, and I'm excited to see how it brings players from all over Hytale together. Looking forward to share more in the next official update. I'm trying out the new X post formatting features, and I realize that this makes the post look official, but it's just me sharing my thoughts on the last update and how we've been doing since.
I like it.
Oh, I want to add on. He posted this at 11:12 p.m. at night.
Yeah, I was sleeping.
What? I was literally going to bed. I was just scrolling Twitter for the last time, and I was like, okay, hold on.
Whoa.
Guess I'm not going to bed right now.
I went to bed. I had to wake up early in the morning to read this.
That was May 19th. May 19th was a Sunday. Yeah, I was like getting into bed for work the next day.
That was
I was like
the day I was. Was that the day I was flying back? Might have been
the 19th, I think so.
Yeah, that was the day I was flying back. So actually, I was awake super early, so I went to bed. Oh, actually, this is what happened. So I went to Universal. We never talked about this. Universal Studios. This is huge because this is very important information. The day after I met with Myne for the first time, I went to Universal Studios, walked around, went to, I'm not going to name the place, but I went to a diner in Universal Studios, got a burger and a lemonade, okay? Felt good. I felt great. I was like, okay, cool. So we kept going on some roller coasters because, roller coasters are fun. Then at night, I'm like, man, I'm not feeling too good. So then we go to an Applebee's for dinner because I love Applebee's. But we have like one in Windsor, which is like 3 hours away from Toronto. So we go to the Applebee's. I'm like, I feel like I'm dying here. So I threw up 4 times in the Applebee's bathroom. Dead serious. I sprinted.
Feel so bad for the janitor.
No, I cleaned it up. I'm going to be honest. Okay. I cleaned it up. I told them though, because I'm like, in your bathroom. But I'm like, I cleaned it up. So like, I think you probably just have to sterilize it. I don't know. Because that's health and safety probably. Yeah. So I was dying on Friday. I think I got food poisoning from Universal, probably. So that made my Friday and Saturday just completely miserable, and I had to fly home on Sunday. I was not a happy camper. I
Yeah,
was not.
you were
I was
not
not
in
good.
the John blog post mood.
No, that the poor Applebee's bathroom. It was like I was okay, and then the second they brought out my food, I smelt it, and I just felt like nope, and I was gone.
Were you able to at least enjoy the food, or were you
No,
just checked
no.
out?
The second I smelt food come to the table, you know when
Mm,
you get that feeling in your throat,
yeah,
I was like, I gotta go to the bathroom.
you
Yeah.
just book it.
And then nobody checked on me for my family until they were finished eating. So I was
This is
just,
really funny.
luckily, like I sprinted to the bathroom. Luckily, there was nobody in the stall, because could you imagine?
Oh my god.
I mean, I would
What
have
would you do?
destroyed the
Urinal,
sink,
right?
urinal,
The sink?
probably urinal. Yeah, no, probably the urinal. But man, I like projectile that thing right into the toilet. It was crazy.
Shout out to any viewers if you're eating lunch, dinner, or breakfast or a snack right now. I know
Dude,
I
poor
usually
time.
pull in podcasts while I'm eating,
Yeah.
usually my lunch,
Yep.
because I work from home. So shout out to you guys who are eating right now.
Yeah.
I hope it tastes delicious.
You know what's funny? So I did actually reach out to Universal on Twitter and told them what happened, and they're like, "Oh man, that sucks." So I told them like where, when, whatever time I ate, showed them the receipt of everything, and they're like, "Hey, if you come back next week, we'll give you a $25 voucher." I'm like, "Bro, I live in Canada."
Are you serious?
I'm like, "Are we serious?" I'm like, "We're not gonna come back
That's a
next week."
straight up middle finger to you.
Yeah. So I told them like,
also you'd have to pay for another ticket
Yeah.
to get in.
It was like something percent off to get in to the park. I'm like, it's still like $200 to get in the park. Canadian. It's yeah. So I told them, I'm like, I don't want your handouts. I just don't want anyone else to get food poisoning from this place. And then yeah. So.
Man. Anyway,
America.
we got a John blog.
Yeah, we got a John blog that I just wanted to say that's why I fell asleep early that night, because I missed it.
So what do you think about this blog post?
Honestly, obviously the engine being on progress is like money, music to the ears, but like whatever, who cares? I want to talk about Orbis because they thoroughly went through the Outlanders, the Chorks, the Farons, Undead, Goblins, Fawns. They just didn't mention that. I think he forgot about them. He just didn't mention them.
I'm gonna be so pissed if we open up the final game and
no Fawn in there.
just don't exist.
I would be too. So we saw last year they revamped the Quebecs by basically adding one more Quebec, and
they
some
changed
stages.
a single Quebec and
Yeah.
they redesigned the way the village works, which I'm a
Which
big
is cool.
fan of the
I'm a big
village
fan of that.
redesign,
Yeah,
'cause
that's cool.
the in-game screenshots we've seen of the villages, they were tiny. I mean, obviously they might have only showed us certain parts of the village or certain small villages, and they didn't want to show us a big one, but the concept art we got is lively, it's big, it's bountiful, and something that you could actually be excited about finding.
Yeah. So, like I said, they did Farons, Chorks, Outlanders, Undead, Goblins, etc. I didn't even think they would have revamped the Undead, really, because that's just kind of like skeletons, probably zombies or whatever. But the other factions, are we going to get new mobs in every single faction now?
Likely.
Or that's what I'm thinking.
It wasn't a new mob. It wasn't a new mob. It was a redesign.
A redesign. Yeah, so I think from every one of those factions they talked about, which surprisingly they didn't mention Slothians, which is kind of interesting. But
they like ignoring Fawns and Slothians.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen Slothians in the game, so like clearly confirmed. But I just want to know what we're getting out of these.
Both of them.
Exactly. I want to know what we're getting out of these all these factions here. I kind of wish they'd mentioned Fenstalkers a little bit too, because they're kind of an interesting faction that I mean they're cool.
Are they a faction or are they just a mob?
They might just be a mob.
I think they're just a mob. I don't think they're a faction.
Okay, maybe they're just a faction. A mob, sorry. Goblins interesting. Like we just recently, I think in the past 2-3 years, learned of a goblin boss, the Duke. So what else have they really added from that?
So I think it's super interesting to note the last sentence. No spoilers. I'm sure we'll tease more details, but the goal of all this work was for you to experience it in game. So
That's true. They won't tell us
details about this. Or
dang it!
Details about this.
So since they didn't mention the Fawns, they could tell us before, right? That's how that works.
True. I would at least like a basic blog post about every single faction, or maybe not every.
Well, we have
faction.
an Outlanders one.
We have an Outlanders and we have a Farron one, I think.
I don't think we have a Farron one.
No, we don't have a Farron one. We just know a decent amount about the Farron.
We do know a lot about from like one concept art, which is kind of crazy. We need more of those. Can we just get like a bunch of concept arts? Like that would be great, and the game. The game would be cool. But I love
No,
concept art.
don't give me concept art. Give me screenshots.
Well, I mean, if we get a like, those like little drawn ones where it show you the freedom bracers that are on their wrists, like stuff like that with like little hints of the lore of Hytale, I would
Yeah.
love. I would eat that up. I'd eat it up.
Yeah, so all the factions are re-explored, but it's super impossible and difficult, and whatever word you might want to attach onto that to talk about what the redesign is, considering maybe they redesign a single mob, maybe they redesign the village, maybe they redesign the way the tribe or faction works in general.
Well, Farron's we know can be in Zone 3, so maybe that's one of the major things. Oh, probably is one of the major things.
We know a lot of them can be in different locations.
Right. That could have been what they were working on for most of the factions.
We've seen Quebecs in Zone 3 as well.
But we didn't see that 4 or 5 years ago. So that could have been one of the parts that they thoroughly re-explored, even though that was pre-engine change. So,
yeah, I think that's something we'll just have to be surprised about.
Yeah, I'm hyped to be surprised. I'm excited.
I mean, it's a waiting game. Yep. Obviously, I'd love to theorize about this, but I think we would run into so many dead ends because it's an open-ended question about what would change about them. So we'll just have to get more information, and once they tease a little more, then we can go more into theorizing.
Right. So let's move on to the super.
They mentioned the capital.
They did.
He mentioned the capital. He said capital and the lifestyle / capabilities of avatars have come a long way, and I'm excited to see how it brings players all over Hytale together. So they mentioned the capital again, but they still haven't mentioned what the capital is.
I assume it's just a big lobby. But you never know. Let's move on to the last part of this, because we're already 30 minutes in. We haven't even got to the meat and potatoes of the podcast. This is a big one. Free to play, basically 99% confirmed. Like, I'm not going to say 100% because there's always a chance they change things until they say it's free to play. But, like, it's basically confirmed that Hytale is going to be a free to play game.
Wait, no. I remember there was a reply to that article. And it was also one of the biggest things we've ever gotten, period.
Oh, the John Hendricks one?
Joey the Gamer.
Oh.
Replied saying, will the next official update contain gameplay or pictures by chance?
Ah, massive.
John Hendricks said, the next one from me will.
I'm putting this on the screen because it's very important. So, whenever John decides to talk again, we will get... You good?
The next official update from him. Not whenever he talks. He could talk and do whatever, but the next official update will contain gameplay or pictures.
That's just things you just simply love to see.
And then someone replied saying, Noxy will just write the next ones. And then John said, okay, that option had not occurred to me. And so I replied, and I think this is, I'm speaking for everyone. We're all thinking it, but we're afraid to tell you. I vote to exile Hellscab from the community, the person who said that. So massive fuck you to Hellscab for bringing that up.
See ya, buddy. Get ready to learn Chinese, buddy.
Yeah, so I think John's gonna write the next one. Yeah, I think it's just a bit fun.
I'm sure John likes to mess around. That's what he likes.
This is confirmation.
Yeah,
this is confirmation that the next update we get is gameplay or pictures, and probably the new engine.
I like the new engine. I want to see it. I want to play it.
Because they said they're not showing any gameplay of the old engine because it doesn't represent Hytale anymore. The next update will be the new engine with screenshots and gameplay. What did I say? The last few months is going to happen. The next update is going to be a blog post about the new engine with gameplay and screenshots. People are like, no. There was always that possibility of like, oh, you know what if they just do a second update like they did in the winter one? And that was a possibility. That was a possibility. I think it would have been a very stupid possibility of them. I mean, I said it last year. I was like, there's no way they could give a teaser, like do an official blog post and say nothing about it. And they did. But also John technically forced it onto himself because he said he didn't drop the blog post when he didn't actually mean to. And so they did that already. They can prove me wrong again, but now we've got this confirmation.
I hope they don't prove you wrong. But Myne, we got to talk about free to play, man,
Let's talk about
because
free-to-play.
there was a job posting, and one of the little key things that would be nice to have in a candidate is someone who frequently, has experience frequently shipping updates to a live free-to-play game.
So let's
doesn't
talk about
once
the
it
job
doesn't
itself
want
first.
yes,
So
it doesn't
this
once
is-
say pay to play there as well. Just says only free to play.
It says it's for a principal engineer, project technical lead. And let's see, as a principal engineer, you will work directly with the technical director and engineering leads to set the architectural direction for the engine, game systems, and gameplay. Let me read through it. I'm honestly not reading through the whole thing unless there's some other interesting things, but it says bonus traits. So it talks about essential traits, and then it's that you should have, and then some bonus traits that you should have. Experience with Scrum and Agile development. We've heard that term before. Experience with frequently shipping updates to a live free-to-play game as a service.
It seems like live service games are getting very, very popular at the moment, and they have been for a while. Everyone loves live service games. I mean, it's a great way to just keep giving updates to the community, and then the community giving feedback on those updates. For example, Helldivers, one of the best examples of it. Experience with Entity ECS, which we had a postcard. Not
ECS.
Postcard.
We've had an Asked Hytale about that.
Yes,
we had a podcast about ECS as well, and kind of what that means for the game. Free to play as a game service, guys. They said free to play in an official job posting.
Yeah, it didn't mention pay to play at all. There's no thing that says pay to play on here, and this is not an 100% confirmation of free to play, but it's pretty damn close. You can't tell me the game is not going to be free to play after reading this, because why would it say free to play on there? And I know John Hendricks did reply to a tweet about it, and he said that is a valuable bonus trait if the candidate has experience working in live service games with frequent updates. And then he said frequent updates that don't break the game equals good. Once again, John Hendricks in that reply never also mentioned anything about free to play or pay to play.
He kind of skirted that line, but I don't think he's allowed to mention that.
I don't think that's exactly. He's trying to defuse the bomb, I think, at the moment.
I will play with the haters, or the non-believers.
AKA, it's just Reddit. It's really just Reddit.
No, there's people in the Discord. There's people in comments.
There's a
people
few.
everywhere.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
They're everywhere.
Yep.
This does not confirm free to play. This means that the candidate will likely have a better chance if they've worked with a free to play game as a service. Right. You can put out a bunch of assumptions that why would they want someone that's good at free to play games as a service on their team if they're doing just a pay to play game. You could also say, you know what? Okay, maybe this is just good in terms of updates. They're handling updates. Free to play usually updates more, and so they just want their updates to be better. Also a valid criticism.
Correct.
Then there's people talking now. The pay to play people are moving on to something I want to say I said this a year ago about the possibility of if it's free to play and pay to play, then maybe the story is pay to play. You got to pay for the story, and then the server and the capital's free to play. They're kind of latching onto that now.
I would not like that.
It would be kind of the same thing. It'd be just pay for the single player, multiplayer is free. But
that really just kind of separates both games. Like I don't want it to
would separate them. Yeah, I know. But people are latching onto that, and I think I don't think it's not unreasonable. I think it's a valid theory.
Right.
You guys are a little late to it, by the way.
Yeah, keep up, guys. Keep up.
I mean, I don't think that's going to happen. I don't think it's smart. We've talked about, you know how many episodes we've done where we talked about free to play versus pay to play.
A couple.
I just want pay to play people to name a single Riot game that's pay to play.
You know, it's hard to name one. It's very hard to name one. Yeah.
You know what I'd be interested in?
What?
Once the game is released and once the devs are more open to talking about things, I wanna interview them and ask them when their processes of deciding free to play or play to play, whatever it ends up being, uh,
Hmm.
if they decided originally it was going to be pay to play, because I assume
I feel
Hytale
like it would have
originally
been.
was going to be pay to play.
Yeah, I have to agree with that.
It feels like when they originally launched the trailer, it was going to be like a $30-40 game that you buy, and maybe it just has updates like that. And then over time, it switched, and maybe it switched back to pay to play. Or I'm curious about that.
Yeah, no, very, very curious about that. But yeah, guys, what do you think of the comment section about Hytale? Pretty much 99% confirmed to be almost free to play. So I want to get your thoughts and opinions, and also Reddit hat told you so. I just want to say that again because
I'm gonna be honest. I don't think any of the Reddit people watch the podcast.
no, they hate us probably.
They
Oh
hate
well.
everyone but Quebec Corner.
Yeah, they love Connor.
Everyone loves Connor.
I mean, I mean, how can you hate him? He's like a British dude. Like,
That's probably a reason to hate him.
no, British people are cool.
Okay.
Okay, all right. Let's end this off with some viewer questions. 'Cause I don't think we have anything else for today. Maybe like 2 or 3, because
Let's
we're already at 40 minutes.
see what we got for viewer questions. I'm gonna sort by date posted.
Okay.
All right, we've got one for you that this was already answered. How is the heat treating you now that you're in Florida? They posted that in the wrong channel.
It was a little hot, in case you were wondering.
Okay, this is an interesting one. I think it'll be short too. It
Okay.
could be a longer one, but I don't think we're gonna make it that long. Summer Games Fest.
No.
Riot is showing up there.
So
Riot is showing up there is so very interesting. Do you guys think we can see a reveal?
So I actually hit up Buddha's DMs while I was in Florida asking, hey, I'm guessing y'all won't be at Summer Games Fest, and he said correct. So, that is official confirmation that they won't be at Summer Games Fest. It was worth a shot, but they did say they would let us know in advance whether they'd be at these things anyway, so. No.
They did say that. Yeah, there's no speculation to be had there. We
Like,
got
you
you
can't-
the confirmation from the developer themselves, or the community manager in this case.
Here,
They're not
the
going to
Hytale
be-
podcast is here for the people, and we
They're
ask
not going to be at
questions.
Summer Games Fest. So Riot is showcasing whatever. Maybe I assume they're showcasing their fighting game.
What did they announce what that is already or no?
Yeah, it is
did?
2x KO or something like that. Yeah, I think it's
Never heard
2x
of it.
KO is the name of it. It's
Interesting.
a really, really, really bad name.
It sounds like Elon Musk's kid.
Yeah. Yeah.
And when your name reminds me of Elon Musk's kid, it's not a good name. All right, one
It's
more
just
question.
impossible to pronounce. Possible Hytale farm. Cheese farm, so we can have infinite cheese to give to mouses. Okay, that's very specific.
Would it be considered mice or mouses?
It's mice.
It's mice? Yeah, okay. I mean, if you like cheese, maybe, but I know you give cheese to mice and then they can lead you to, like, special reward or something, but...
Something like that.
Yeah, I think it was something in a blog post at one point. So maybe that's an infinite loot glitch, but I have no idea.
I mean, that's interesting. It's super interesting to think about the fact that if you give cheese to a mouse, it'll give you treasure. But I assume the treasure is one time. Like, the treasures won't respawn. Maybe.
Right.
Or the treasure's there and you might not even, you can get it accidentally. I'm curious how that mouse mechanic will work. If it actually is replenishable, I think that's going to be... I think we're looking at one of the first OP farms.
Yeah, that could be a really overpowered farm, and I wonder how often, like you said, these things will replenish. Maybe, I don't know, a day cycle in Hytale. Boom, new loot. But then again, it's a dungeon and then a chest in a dungeon, I don't see that replenishing because it's a dungeon.
Yeah, just in the dungeon probably won't, but I mean, we've seen mice above ground and lead. What, did he go into a cave or?
Yeah, he went into a cave and obviously he found something, probably maybe like an old sword or something.
So I mean,
like
maybe that's replenishable, maybe not, but I think it's something to keep in mind. Who said the Eutropics? Once we know about the game, remind me. We'll probably be streaming. say that in. I don't know if you're gonna be around by then, but when we have our hands on the games,
Mm-hmm.
please remind me. Or I guess this applies to anyone watching this episode. If you're watching this episode and you're around when we're streaming the game, please bring up Cheese Farm for Mice Treasure. I
Yeah.
want to check that out when we're in game.
I wonder
So
what would happen if there's like 5 or 6 mice in an area and you each give them a piece of cheese. Will they go all to the same treasure or will they go to different treasures?
they got to work on the AI.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm curious.
All right, let's wrap up the pod here.
Because it could be kind of like buried treasure.
Ooh, I wonder how that would work.
Treasure in Minecraft.
Buried treasure would be cool. I feel like it would be more for dungeons and caves, but who knows? I don't know.
I don't know. We'll have to wait until we have our hands on the game. But wow, I'm actually so excited to test that out now.
Yeah, cheese farm. Let us know what other farms you think there's gonna be. I wonder if crabs will do something like that too. That could be a pretty cool mechanic because we saw a crab close to like buried treasure in a screenshot.
True.
I wonder if you give him a little piece of gold and he's just like, he's Mr. Crab, like kind of like a little teaser there, you know? Give him some money and he'll bring you to like treasure. That could be really cool. But yeah,
maybe.
Let's wrap it up
Chris,
here. Mine.
We had a good podcast. We got the most news
What a pod.
in probably the whole year. But
combined into 3 weeks.
Hey, I mean, this is the 30th of May that we're recording this on. It's going to release on the 2nd of June. July.
Blog post month?
July is...
This is blog
post month. July is what I'm
Our prediction of April was a little far off. But you know what? Not the worst thing in the world.
We have an exciting summer.
Yes, we do.
I think we're going to get a summer blog post probably towards July. I think June's going to be a quiet month.
They're going to be like a last day of July, just so you can get the summer one.
They've usually done it towards the end of July.
Yeah,
so we'll be waiting, but usually towards the 20s, we'll expect something.
And
Predictions
down below.
Predictions down below, and we guys will see you next week. Peace out.